right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this week's Bullpen Session. Right. Thank you. Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank all the first-time people who are online joining us today. Thank you for our faithful watchers as well. And we're going to go over the numbers for the month end of October real quick. We're going to do the top 20 issue paid writers. These are the people who received the money that actually went to their bank account. These are not submit numbers. So here we go. Carlos R, $35,247. Shout out to you, Carlos. All right. Cynthia S, $36,587. Pirate O, $37,000. Sorry if I butcher your name. Remy Kula, $38,582. Keith M, $38,816. Jose G, $40,067. Andy G, $41,462. Stephanie C, $41,680. Wayne C, $42,641. Nicholas C, $41,793. Jeffrey B, $44,894. Kyrie J, $47,926. Orlando P, $52,941. Pamela T, $56,178. Sidemad G, $57,670. And the top five, Danielle B coming in at $60,269. Robert R, $75,289. Rainier Sanchez, $115,820. Number two, Stephen G, $120,960. And at the number one slot, Jonathan P, $130,682. Let me get a moment on hand. All right. And now the top issue paid agencies for the month of October. Chimera T with FFL Dynasty, $48,282. Good work. Francis Doherty with FFL Shoreline, $68,494. Congrats, Francis. Right. And David Powell, FFL Great Lakes, $70,512. Gabriel S, FFL The Way, $74,792. Mark T with FFL Dream Team, $90,055. Alex L, FFL Third Coast, $100,083. $843, I apologize. Jose G, $106,271. Daniel B with FFL Legacy, $113,149. Stephanie C, FFL Insure and Trust, $123,335. Michael L, Pay It Forward, $123,881. Jesse P with FFL Avenues, $148,795. Caleb A with FFL 320, $184,633. Kyrie Joyner with FFL Humble Beginnings, $196,221. Carlos Reynoso, FFL Wisdom, Strength, and Beauty, $223,107. Good work, Carlos. All right. Cindy S with FFL Service Before Self, $228,090. Jonathan Porcina, FFL Loyalty, $228,256. Wayne C, FFL Hidden Gems, $250,458. Steve G with FFL Health and Wealth, $391,790. Rob Richmond with FFL Apex, $775,222. In the top two, number two is Brian Mendenhall with FFL Central, $892,137. In the number one slot, Ivan V with FFL Universe, $1,389,821. Ooh. That one was a little little too big for me. You know, a little bit, but you know, you got to get there. No, we all gonna get there. And I want to give a congratulations to the first-time writers: Ron S, Kwana B, Waquel G, Jordan A, Kayla W, Daniel C, Jose G, Connor H, Andrew K, Tisha B, Kyle O, and Roberto G. Congratulations to you. We're gonna have some big agencies here. All right, and we're gonna go over the numbers for last week. The appointments are how many appointments you sat down and you scheduled. Sits are how many families you actually sat with. Closed are basically how many applications that were submitted directly to the insurance carrier. Applications is how many applications that were actually submitted in the home. Sometimes your applications are going to be more than you had with the closing. And then you have the premium here, annuities and new hires. So Carlos, can you come up here, help me out, man, explain to me? Of course. You know how you did this and what happened here. All right.
I got killed this week. Set up 15 appointments, sat down with 12, and was only able to close 4 and 4.
Good job on 100% close ratio.
The reason why sometimes apps are more than close because you can close a husband and wife or a kid, etc. So that's why this sometimes is bigger than this. Okay, so you had the appointment and then you closed it and then you did more apps than just that person. That's why.
Yeah, no shows, reschedules.
Yeah. Well, I had a tough week this week. I needed a hug like John did that week. I was asking for a hug. I had a tough week, but even with the tough week, it was a $4,532 week. I had a lot of, but not that it's bad, but you're just more convincing, I guess. A lot of older person with a, with a lot of high mortgages, and just couldn't get the job done the way I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to at least help 4 families and and take care of them. With this, I have some reschedules also, a lot of reschedules that week. It was a weird week. That's it, man.
So what's the mentality? You feel like you got beat up. It's Monday. We're back here in the office. What's the mentality coming in? After a hard week like that?
Everybody knows about what's the best thing doing this job. You know what the best thing is?
You tell me.
Best thing is working with people. So is the worst. It's working with people. So then, the mentality with this, when you get beat up like this, is that tomorrow is a new day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And tomorrow we get to do it all over again. And you know what I mean? This is a week. To me, this is horrible. This is like a bad week. So, we get up again and make it happen. This week, I'm already 4,000 and something. So this is going to be probably $10,000-$15,000 a week. People that are starting, I say, if you're a new agent, don't give up. Like Mark used to tell me, don't give up till you give me at least 90 sittings. Once you sit down with 90 families, then you make a decision. But by then you're already committed. You took committed, and you pretty sure that you're going to be successful, and you're going to go all the way in.
Yep.
So I know that this being a bad week, I know that there's better days coming. You know what I mean? So
that makes sense.
Get on the phone. I got my leads already dialing. Already got some appointments set up.
And so, let's touch on this for a second,
Okay.
Carlos. A lot of new agents that they're struggling on the phone.
Okay.
Your numbers are always tight every single week.
Okay.
What's your mentality going into the phone, tying down the appointment for a solid appointment?
You got to solidify the appointment when you call a client. make sure that you just don't call them, be vague, and be remember, like John says, be remember, make them remember you, and go into, ask some questions, let them ask you some questions, don't make it too long, but don't make it too short. Find a medium. Make sure that you pound the time that you're going to meet them a couple of times. Just don't do, okay, so I'm going to see you Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
No. Talk to them, remind them, okay, so listen, I'm going to have you here 10 a.m. Remind them again and remind them again. Got that from Steve Giordano. Three times. And if you could do it more, pound it. Make sure that that they're going to be there. Like Joe says, if you're going to put cable, you know what I mean, in your new apartment, people are going to be there. You want your cable.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they be there when you go there? You know what I mean? That's it.
All right, thank you, Carlos.
All right. Always, brother. Always.
All right, so myself, James Vines, 10 appointments, 4-6, 1 close, 1 appointment, $780 AP. Last week I kind of got beat up. I've been working on this. Normally it's I'm sitting between 60 to 70% of the appointments I set. Still looking to get that up. But last week it was just a bunch of reschedules for me. And when I got into the home, I just couldn't connect. Met with a couple, and we couldn't see eye to eye on the value. And that happens sometimes where they say they want the coverage, but if you press them a little deeper, they're just stone kickers. They just want to flip the stone. They're not really interested. So that's where this came in, and I only ran, I believe, Tuesday and Wednesday last week, and this is thankful to me running that last appointment. All too often, if you have no shows throughout the day or a lot of reschedules, you're in the back of your head. That little voice in the back of your head is saying, I could just go home. And I heard that little voice. The little voice was like, James, it's an hour and a half drive home. You don't go to that 8 o'clock, you'll be home, by 8:30. But I was like, let me just go here. I actually went to the appointment a couple minutes early, caught them early.
Nice.
And was able to help the family.
Nice.
So
There you go.
don't listen to that voice. Always go to your last appointment. Frank, you can come up here, Frank. Just talk to us a little bit about your week.
All right, so I had a little light on activity last week due to some family things going on, but ran mostly final expense appointments. The 3 that I sat with, I had a couple no-shows. I think 1 reschedule in there. Did have 2 parents answer the door and say their adult child was not going to be buying insurance instead of door in my face. I said, if I'm paying their rent, there's no way they're paying for insurance. And then I had 1 adult child say that get kind of in the way. I'm still working on that one. But the 3 that I sat down with, I was able to close all 3 and help all 3 families.
Can you talk to us a little bit about this right here?
Well, this right here, the 3 to the 5, was selling accidental. So stacking a couple of the policies, so doing final expense and then adding some accidental on top of it. These here, the reason I think why I was able to help 3 families that I sat with was focusing on the why and opening up the conversation. So not really doing too much rapport building in terms of how nice their house is or what they do in the retirement. It's really finding out why they filled out the lead. And
what's the question? What are the first couple of questions you have? You ask to help build the why.
As soon as I'm walking in, we're walking towards the table. I got all this from John Wetmore off a podcast. First thing I ask is, so you need some insurance? And if I wouldn't be there if they didn't say yes. So then I ask them if they have any. And if they say no, I say, really? And I shut up. And then usually they'll start talking about something. And if they say that they have something, from there I'll say, are you looking to see if you can do better or add on to it? in either direction, I can work off that as well. If they say that they don't have anything, I'll ask them, was it because of health reasons or are they just procrastinating? Most of the time I get the procrastination and then they laugh. And I'm like, all right, are we done procrastinating? And they'll say yes. So they just
Nice.
told me that they want insurance. They don't have it because they were being lazy and that they're not going to do that anymore.
That's solid, that's solid.
So then I take out the lead card and I hand it to them. I'm like, why'd you fill this out? What happened? One gentleman, he was 58 years old. He has 3 kids. His wife passed away about 3 years ago, and he got shot while being robbed. He got shot 6 times. Yeah, like 50. Yeah. Bionic man. But 4 times in the face, and twice in the chest. And he's alive and well right now. But he's like, I don't know if I can survive that one again. So he needed coverage, and that was pretty cut and dry right there. Another one, husband and wife, they just buried both of their sisters, a parent, and a niece in the last 6 months. And they don't have any coverage. And they just retired, went through almost all their retirement savings trying to bury everyone in their family.
Wow.
So they didn't want to have to do a GoFundMe. So that was
That's solid. Now,
that was like an emotional, like that one.
wow. Now, you said you policy stacked.
Yes.
How do you set that up? You know, you already built the why. You already started with how are you going about adding the second policy, especially if there's an accident?
Well, a lot of times you go in and you'll sit down with someone and they're looking for more coverage than maybe that their checkbook just can't necessarily, they can't write that check.
Mm-hmm.
So to get them a little bit of coverage, particularly if they're on the younger side, we'll talk about accidental. And if they're relatively healthy, chances are if they pass away, it's a pretty good shot it's going to be an accident, not just passing away in their sleep. So for only a couple extra bucks a month, we can get them an extra $50,000, $100,000 worth of coverage. So I do it with younger couples too. So I kind of like myself, I have accidental, I have $250,000 on myself, my wife, and my 3 kids. It's like $80 a month. It's just a savings account for me. God forbid something bad happens, my family's got a little extra cash, but it's just for savings. That's the way I look at it.
Perfect. That's solid, Frank. Thank you.
So,
And now we have Alvin J. Come up here, sir. Nice, solid week, man.
Thank you. So, what I did, what really reflected me was that call that we had for, the training, the BDM call, when Frank mentioned, put pressure on the system. And that's what really kind of like clicked, went back to me, because I've been focusing on all the wrong stuff in a sense. There's 3 main things that I was preaching to my people, and then suddenly that came back to me. So, I was always blaming, and there's people out there every day in this industry and in every single industry. We're always blaming, we're blaming the government, we're blaming the weather, we're blaming this, we're blaming that. That's the first one. The second one is that we're justifying the blame, okay? We're saying, okay, yes, but this is why, you're justifying yourself why you are not doing it, okay? And then the third part is the procrastination part, in the sense that, most of us, the main reason why we're not where we want to be is because we live on that someday island, okay? So, we say we're gonna do it someday I'm gonna get everything done. And, that's where the more you leave that day, the further it came. And where it really feels good, and it's like a wake up call for me in a sense, is that I did what Frank told me on that phone. Like, I put pressure on the system. Now, how do I do that? Disappointments are also like reschedules or people that I had from previous weeks that they owed me an appointment. Okay, so in a sense that when I go in the field, what I did wrong was like, okay, I had, let's say, 5 appointments today, and I was just gonna go to my appointments. If that doesn't happen, I'm just gonna go home and cry. In a sense, like I didn't get what I really wanted to get from that field, and I kind of that's what really got me, because I didn't give 100% of me. Now, when I go on the field, like the day before I go on the field, it's because I kind of have the result pile by the end of the day, and I also have the people that haven't picked up the phone, or the people who owed me an appointment, okay? So if I'm, for example, in the area and I booked an appointment with this guy 2 weeks ago and he no-showed me, I mean, like you said yourself, would I drive an hour and a half back? I mean, I still work in my backyard, which is, you know, one of those three things that I'm still justifying myself. But, you know, like you can see, for example, I really got beat up. I mean, beat up in the sense that I had 24 appointments, okay? I wish I could be like Carlos, you know, because my numbers would have been much more higher. But, you know, it's just a numbers game. You know, Carlos is doing this now, but this week he said, you know, 2 days because he put pressure. So that's what I did. You know, when I sat down with this people, I sat down with 12 people, and this is the magic number, because every time, you know, you sit down with over 12 people, there's no way that you're not going to get paid. There's no way. So what I did was not focusing on there, not how to get there. What I did is focus on how to get here. Because there's one thing that you can control. You control this, okay? And then you can control this. And this is just practice, the matter of time of like how better you get. Now, the main reason why, you know, I did this was because in a sense that, you know, I built an emotion a little bit better. I did a little bit reverse engineering, because all these numbers, what I've done here is with old Facebook leads, which is the final expense, and the instant leads, the new instant leads. And to be honest, I haven't bought any other leads. Now, what I did, because this instant leads is really like different like type of people, in a sense that, you know, it could be a senior, but the senior could also own a home.
Yep.
Okay. So, you know, I don't approach that as a, you know, like when I go to the beginning, I raise a little bit of emotion about who we are, what we do, our partners. So when people go online and search Family First Life, or, you know, they search our financial partners, America Mutual of Omaha, and, you know, you mentioned it, we have them there, okay? Now that automatically it builds a certainty. Me as an agent, I have a certainty when I go like in front of this client, and with certainty, I know that I am doing the best thing. And that's one of the main reasons why I quit my previous company, because I didn't have certainty. You know, like my grandfather always used to tell me there is two types of people in this world: people who eat good and people who sleep good. People who eat good, I mean, they can eat good, but if you eat too much, you know, your stomach can hurt and you're not going to sleep at night. And people who tend to sleep good are people who, they don't care about eating as long as they sleep quiet, and that's me. So with that certainty, automatically, once I mention these names, these financial institutions that we represent, they know already, because they've been all over the place, okay? And I said,
you're doing that here at initial contact, right?
I mean,
where you
when I sit down, I do kind of like what he says. Okay, I control from when I go to the house. I say, can we use the table? I use at the I sit down at the table. I hear the TV, and I say, can you lower the volume down? So I kind of like take control in a sense, you know, the authority figure. Yeah. And then, you know, I say, when it comes to this plans, there's 4 main reasons why every single one of us needs this. So automatically, I am involving everyone, whether they're seniors, they're young people, concept. You know. So I say the first thing is from the day that we're born, we know that we're gonna die. So that's final expense. Now, depending on what your family chooses for you, and depending what your culture is. For example, the Irish people, I don't know if there's an Irish here. Is there any? Okay. So when someone passes away, people like to spend a lot of money, like after the wake, they celebrate the life of the person, you know? And they do like 1 year, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and that might cost a lot. The Chinese people, for example, they like to have a lot of gold, a lot of flour. People in my culture, we have like the fast for 7 days in a row, every day. So every day you got to serve those people lunch and dinner, okay? Now, it really depends where you come from, but the average numbers are $15,000 to $17,000. And believe it or not, 95% of Americans, okay, we don't have $15,000, $17,000 in our bank account, right? And then the client agrees with me. Now, I automatically build the emotion, and I also tell them, talk a little bit about the inflation. So now they already are thinking about it. The second thing is income protection. Whether you are young, you have a young family, or you're a senior, you're gonna retire soon, you know? Like, for example, this guy could have a 401k or something that if you tell this guy about this, now you're automatically building emotion. And by the time I go to the third one, which is mortgage protection, and then the last one, which is college education, this guy, in his mind, he's already like, waiting for my check for the, saying, okay, here, take my money. That's why, I've kind of have pushed on my premiums because I have worked on my presentation, worked on the certainty, and then everything, what I have done through this process has also helped me to get a lot of referrals, in a sense that now when I get the beneficiary, all the stuff that I didn't do, that I got plugged into the system, listening to this recordings, is what helped me to go over 10K for the past 2 weeks. Now, again, it's not this, okay? It's not about that. It's about this, and it's about thinking when you sit down in front of that client, doing the right thing. Like, why do I say that? I've been selling a lot of final expense in a sense because I've been sitting with those kind of people, but then the financial institutions that I use, I really focus on 4 carriers. And the main reason why I focus on those 4 carriers, the first one is because you will get paid. So Americo, Mutual of Omaha, MM, and I've done Transamerica. And the main reason why I've done Transamerica is because they have improved the EAP.
Yes.
And I get like approvals or declines within 1 day or within 2 days, or the requirements, whatever they require. And I have a new Prosperity Life group, which I'm very excited to get my agent number to start using it. But yeah, I mean, that's all about it. Like, you don't see, this usually doesn't happen, okay? I mean, no matter who you are, whether you're Jordan Belfort himself,
Yes.
I don't know if anyone knows,
Yeah.
this is not gonna happen, okay? All it happens is this is a marathon. Like, the more we do it, the more we put our time into the system. Like, for example, he got burned out, okay? But now the time that he put in, the system owes him, okay? So the system sooner or later is gonna pay for all the work that we do. It's just like you can't afford to stop. If you stop, that's it.
All right, I appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, now we have John Vizella. John, if you can come up here, man. All right, talk to us a little bit about your numbers. Right, pretty good here.
16 apps. It's actually a slow week. I decided to not work that weekend. But yeah, I've been saying this for the last month, that these numbers, I mean, obviously it comes from here. Obviously you want to have 25, 30 appointments a week, but we also want to tighten these numbers. Carlos was saying it before, in case you guys didn't understand what he was saying. When we move and we order cable service, we have to have Xfinity or whoever whoever your provider is. You call them up, hey, I just moved to a new location, need your services. They're going to give you like a 3-4 day window. They're not coming the same day. They're going to say, all right, today's Monday. All right, we'll be there Friday between 12 and 3. You're going to be home that day. You're not going anywhere because you want your cable. Well, it's the same thing here. When we call people up, I'm trying to crunch these numbers as more as, like, even like 4 people not showing up pissed me off. Even though I did this number, it still annoyed me that 4 people weren't home, because I could have taken that time to help somebody else or, utilize my time elsewhere. But I think it all starts with the phone call. And
Is there anything that you're doing on the call to kind of build the importance? To let her say, hey.
I was just going to get into that, and I've been saying this every week too. First of all, we have to be here every Monday. If we could be here Monday and Thursday, great. But I see a lot of new faces today. I applaud you. If you guys could be here every week, that's great. Because you're going to learn so much. There are guys that do it every week. I mean, there's a lot of successful people in this room. And if you hear them on a day-by-day basis, you're just going to pick up their success. It's so easy to make these calls at home and get distracted. I mean, you could call 20 minutes later, you're like, all right, what's on Netflix? It's easy to Yeah, I mean, you could easily get distracted at home, and then before you know it, it's noon, 1 o'clock. At least here, yeah, you're gonna get into a slump. You know, you may hit a wall where nobody's picking up or whatever the case may be, but by listening to everybody in the room, you're staying energized, you're learning. There are times where I just don't feel like getting on the phone because I'm getting my butt kicked, and I'll be like, I'll go into Frank, you know, I'll go over to Carlos, yo, man, what's up? You know, give me a hug. Because we all need that. But yeah, I think we definitely need to, you know, a lot of people that we call dread answering the phone these days. It's just how it is. I mean, because 99% of the calls they get are automated systems. Who's trying to extend my warranty on my car? Who's trying for Medicare? Who's trying to sell me Viagra? Who's trying? It's just the same repetitive calls for these people. So now when I call, you know, I make it a breath of fresh air for them to listen to me. And I firmly feel that you have 4 seconds to get somebody's attention when they pick up that phone. You know, it's like, hey, Bob, John Mazzella, you know, whatever it is, whether it's mortgage protection insurance, whether it's mortgage or final expense, you know, hey, it's John Mazzella from the Mortgage Benefit Center. How are you? And it's like, oh, wow, a live voice. I'm doing well. How are you? That's what I get most of the time. And then I just go right into it very slowly. I mean, I speak very fast sometimes. I'm from Brooklyn, so that's, you know, that's a bad thing. But I do make sure when they pick up that phone, I'm slow and there's a lot of clarity, and they know exactly what I'm calling, why I'm calling. So that's why I try to keep that as tight as possible. Now, obviously, I got a little hammered because these numbers are usually a little bit better. But I had like an 0 for 6 day, and then my last appointment was a 7. So
See that last appointment,
hit your last appointment.
All right, and then you had, you submitted an extra application compared to the close.
Husband and wife, yeah. And again, it's just that when you're sitting down in a house, you're in control. You know,
Yes,
they listen, I invited you to my house, sell me, you know, sort of like what I always say, like, what can I do for you? And you just gotta, you listen to them, and then you gotta ask questions. You know, do you have, if it's a mortgage insurance, and I know if they're only 30, 40 years old, you may not ask them about their final expense because they're not thinking that far ahead.
Mhm.
But anybody who's 45 and above, I always ask the question, hey, do you have your final expense taken care of? You know, it's only like $25, $30 for $10,000.
Definitely remember you doing that. When do you pose that question? After you already submitted the first app, where do you pose
Yeah, I
that?
mean, after I do the first app, you know, I mean, in the beginning of that session, I'm letting them know that regardless of its mortgage insurance, final expense, it all falls under the same umbrella as life insurance.
Mhm.
So I do all aspects of life insurance. So let's get that clear. You know, I'm no different than Big Lou. You know, hopefully everybody knows who Big Lou is. You know Big Lou?
Except I'm on my second or third.
Yeah. So, you know, Big Lou is like a select quote. You know, I'm no different. You want me to be Big Lou, I could be Big Lou too. You know, you want that $30 quote for 10 years, I could do that for you too. So I put myself out there that I do all aspects, whether it's annuities, although I don't write annuities, but I just put,
Seed plan.
yeah. And then, you know, usually at the end of the conversation, I'm like, all right, you know, do you have your final expense taken care of? If there's anything, is there anything I could do for your friends, family, grandkids? Just putting my services out there.
How about your AP? Your average case was over 2,500, I think, right?
The AP. What's
Your
that?
average case size,
Right.
like 2,500, which is.
Well, I did have a couple of big cases last week.
Yeah.
With like annual premiums of like 3,000-4,000. And again, if somebody qualifies for 300, 400,000 of America HMS, and they have $150,000, $200,000 loan, I'm gonna show them the $300,000, $400,000 death benefit. You know, hey, if we do anything over 300, we gotta do a swap. Anything less than 300, we don't have to do a swap, but I want you to, I just want you to know what you qualify for. And if they're healthy, I let them know they qualify for anything under the sun. So I'm trying to, I guess I'm just I'm writing a lot more cases. And I learned that from guys like Ivan and Brian over the last couple of years. Like last year, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like Ivan was like every other policy he was writing was like, you know, annual premium 4,200. You know, like his annual premium was like 3, 4, 5,000. I'm like, you know what area is this guy calling? You know, what area is this guy hitting? Beverly Hills? And I just started presenting higher numbers to clients. You know, if somebody's looking for final expense, and even though they plan on being cremated, and cremation is like $5,000, $7,000, if that, I'll show them a $20,000, $25,000 policy because that's what they qualify for. So yeah, I mean, last week and this week, like this week I had some big cases this week. Same thing with last week. You good?
Yep. All right, now we have Stephen P. 9 appointments, 3 sits, 4 closes, 1 application for $5,720. Good job, Steve. And then we have Andy G. 30 appointments, the gold number, 15 sits, 8 closes, 8 appointments for $8,500. Good job. And there's a lot of new people watching and a lot of new people on. This number right here, the gold number. It's just like Alvin said. Gives you the magic number of 12 and above. Gives you the magic number. This means you're getting paid. That's all that means. I know I need to improve. We have some other people that need to improve, but you know, this is the goal. You're full-time, 30 appointments. If you're part-time, get with your manager, get with your upline to figure out that number for you in that scenario. But I definitely wanted to open up and kind of do like a Q&A, something a little different, give it a little breath of fresh air. We're in the 4th quarter right now. And you know, we have Carlos here who just hit VP. Congrats again, Carlos. If you come up here, I just got a couple questions to ask, just, you know, because we have other people here who want to build an agency, who want to grow, who want to do some things like that. And the first question really is, what's like 2 tips that you can give somebody who wants to build an agency, you know, in the 4th quarter right now, to give them that momentum going forward?
Recruit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say we have a lot of ways to recruit that we're using right now, but we don't use them to recruit. So like, let's say social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the social media platforms that we use freely, use it to recruit. Also, if you go to, just, you know, when you're talking to a client, because, you know, you just, hopefully you're not just going there and selling something, you know what I mean? You're talking to the person and getting to build that kind of a rapport. Some of them will tell you, oh, I just picked up a second job here. Bing! Recruit. You know what I mean? I've gotten actually several of my clients are in class right now because of that. We get to talking and they tell me that they need an extra income or whatever, or they picked up a bartending job or whatever the case may be. And that, and I talk to them and tell them about the opportunities and, you know, what can happen for them if they choose to go this route. And, you know, I assure them that they don't have to quit their job or, you know, the job they're doing right away. And they can be comfortable in their job and then do this part-time. And, you know, once they start creating an income, they can come, you know, on board fully. I said, but by the time you get to that point, you know, you'll do it on your own because you're going to be making so much money here. So that, you know.
Okay, so definitely for the new people, basically use that social media platform to just market themselves.
Correct.
And to, if they're on an appointment, just see if there's an opportunity.
Correct. I tell everybody, like, you want to if you are new at this and you're starting, you want to hit the ground running. You want to start building as soon as possible. Recruit. You know, this is a great job, great thing to do. Well, there's days that you just feel like, you just tired. So that team is going to help you, with the growing and alleviate those days that you could take a day or two off, et cetera, et cetera. John said that he took a weekend off, and with the weekend, look, he's taking the weekend off, and he, building a team as well. So, I think it goes hand in hand. You don't want to be selling policies for 20, 30 years. You want to build your agency and kind of have the agency working with you.
Mhm.
That's
So,
it.
I'm a new agent.
Okay.
I come onto your team, I say, Carlos, I like the idea of, talking to everybody, that I meet with on the appointment. If that opportunity presents itself, I like the idea of using, my social media platform for
Okay.
recruiting, to build the agency. What else what other tips could you give to them, for pouring the gasoline on right now? Because again, we're in the forecourt. All this momentum that we're going to generate is going to
I
push
think
us over into 2021.
you got to lead by example. I think that using the social media, coming to the office. If you're going to tell your team to come to the office, you got to come to the office. If you're going to tell you actually from your team to sell, you got to have, you got to show them the bank account, what you're making, the CRM, and et cetera, et cetera. Your bank account is your best recruiter, man. Like I show them people, what I've made to this day so far, and they'll be like, no way. So, but it's true, man. One is real, man. It's real. So if you show them that, which you always have on your phone, you don't have to open your computer or laptop to show them the CRM. Just have to go to the phone and look, man. That's it. They'd be like, okay, I'm sold. I'm in.
Perfect.
Good.
Yeah. And want to open up the field right now to any questions. I know we have a couple people in the room right now that are new. Any questions?
Questions so far?
Well, no questions now?
I did my research, man. I'm on board, so.
Where do you sign?
Where do you sign? Well, let me pose this question then. What are we going to do differently within the next 30 days? We're new. Some of us are here new. Some of us are here veterans. And I'll be the first one to answer the question. And then, John, I would like to get your opinion on this question. So today is day one. What I'm going to do now, and with it, what I'm going to do now, that's going to be different from the next 30 days. Is I'm going to make sure this number is high. There's no reason why. I was giving myself excuses. I'm going to be completely honest. When you were up here talking, Alvin, you were like, we basically give ourselves reasons and the procrastination to not do it. I easily could have hit 30, easily, but I didn't make it a priority. So that's something I'm going to do to make sure that, now in the next 30 days are different. John?
I've been in this business since 2011, and I've been contracted with Family First Life since 2014. From 2014, 2015 to 2018, every time I would call Mark Mead, he'd pick up the phone, and it would be, like I would need Mark for something, but I knew it would be a treacherous phone call because he'd be like, dude, what are you doing? And sometimes I needed that. And eventually I got to the level where I'm like, 2018, I'm like, all right, Mark, I'm in. All the other nonsense is behind me. What do I have to do? And I think, a lot of people out there know my story, know where I was a couple of years ago. I'm not going to get into it, but the best advice I could give each and every one of you is we all want to have the goal. I want to do 30 appointments a week. I want to write X amount of business. I want an Audi 8. I want to be in, that's all great. the best advice I can give you is, just like in the movie Creed, you know, when Rocky is training Creed, it's step by step, punch by punch, round by round. In this business, it's day by day, week by week, month by month. 2 years ago, like, I was in a bad situation. Now it's like 2 years later, I'm in the process of closing a house. I got money in the bank. I know that I could write 20 grand every week. So I didn't get there by looking ahead. I'm just thinking on a day-by-day basis. It's like, and it happens so fast when you start building money in your account. It's like, holy crap, how did it, like, wow, that happens quick. So first advice is get here on Monday. Think Monday for Tuesday, Wednesday. Don't think Friday. Just think Monday, all right? And whatever you have to work with. Some agents have hundreds of leads to work with, and they're getting more appointments. Some agents are not in that situation where they have this many leads. Whatever you have to work with, utilize it. If it's 10 leads and you book 10 appointments, whatever the case may be, just utilize it and take the extra time during the day where you're not calling to learn, whether it's from me, Carlos, from whoever. Come into the office. I can't guarantee you that next week you're gonna book 30 appointments, but I can guarantee you if you guys come here next weekend and the weekend after and the week after, you're gonna be much more polished. You're gonna know more, and you're just gonna steamroll the confidence. Because guess what, guys? We're about 3 weeks away. Yeah, we're about 3 weeks away from, I don't want to do anything right now. Call me next year. Call me in January. We're about 3 weeks away from the good old December where people say, no, I don't want to do anything right now. Holidays, call me after the holidays. You're going to get a lot of that. So that could either go one or two ways. You could either just call back after the holidays, or you could just get more leads and make more calls. You got to work harder. That's a decision you can only make. And in closing, I'll just say this. We have the potential to make as much money as we want. There's nobody stopping us. The only people that stop us is us. And if you decide that you want it to be stopped for whatever reason, then shame on you.
That's true. Good, day by day, for the next 30. Frank. Next 30 days, what's the game plan to make things different?
Pour as much money into leads, be here Mondays and Thursdays. Not only for myself, but for all the other agents, not only on my team, but just in the organization. We all get better results when we're here. So,
No doubt.
big part of this is just showing up. So, show up.
What would you say to a new agent who's just, they're struggling, they're trying to find their footing, they're trying to find exactly what their lead flow should be? What pointers would you give?
Come to your local office. If your direct upline's not at your local office, there's still a ton of people there that can help you. You can call me. My number is 609-502-3558. I pretty much always answer the phone. But everyone's out here on the same team. Everyone's going to help.
Yeah.
But if you don't ask the question, we can't read your mind. So if you don't tell us what you need, we can't give it to you.
Perfect. I appreciate you. All right. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Y'all have a great week. Y'all awesome. Stay blessed.